Everyone walks past this place. Children play near it. Couples walk their dogs beside it. Cars pass it every day, and almost no one stops because from the outside, it looks like nothing. Just an old concrete scar in the earth. Cracked, weathered, silent. But this bunker was never meant to be seen, and what happened inside these walls was never meant to be remembered. Tonight, we are going inside, and once you do, you will never look at ordinary places the same way again. In the early 1940s, as the world was tearing itself apart, nations didn't just fight on open battlefields. They buried their fear. They poured it into concrete, steel, and darkness. Across Europe and beyond, thousands of bunkers were built, not as monuments, not as shelters for civilians, but as machines of survival and command. This bunker was one of them. No grand entrance, no warning signs, no flags. Just a narrow opening, half swallowed by earth, as if the ground itself tried to forget it. When construction began, secrecy was absolute. Local residents were told nothing. Maps were altered. Records were destroyed or classified. Workers who built it were forbidden to speak about it. Some were never paid, others never returned. Concrete was poured day and night. Steel doors were installed thicker than anything used in civilian buildings. This was not a place meant to protect life. It was a place designed to endure death. Imagine the first men who entered this bunker during the war. Not explorers, not historians, soldiers. Young men barely out of school, carrying rifles, fear, and orders they didn't fully understand. As they stepped inside, daylight vanished almost instantly. The air changed. Cold, damp, heavy. The walls seemed to close in, swallowing sound. Every footstep echoed like a gunshot. This bunker wasn't built for comfort. It was built for waiting, waiting for enemy aircraft, waiting for artillery, waiting for orders that might never come. Inside, there were no windows, only dim bulbs powered by generators that shook the walls when running. If the power failed, darkness was total, absolute. In one narrow room, maps once covered the walls. Not tourist maps, not city plans, battle maps. Red and blue lines marked advances and retreats. Pins represented divisions. Entire human lives reduced to metal dots. Each movement on those maps meant thousands would live or die. The men who stood here didn't pull triggers. They moved symbols, but the consequences were just as final. Farther inside, bunks were stacked 3 levels high. No mattresses, just thin fabric stretched over metal frames. Sleep came in short, restless bursts. Some soldiers wrote letters here, crouched under dim light, trying to sound brave for families they feared they'd never see again. Others didn't write at all. They just stared at the ceiling, listening to bombs fall somewhere above them. And then there was the sound, a sound no photograph can capture. The distant thud of explosions, the vibration through concrete, dust raining from the ceiling with every impact. Every second underground felt like borrowed time. Would the bunker hold? Would the next bomb crack the walls? Would oxygen run out? No one knew. This bunker was classified as nearly indestructible. But nearly is not the same as indestructible. Records mentioned direct hits. The doors bent but did not break. The walls cracked but did not collapse. Inside, men screamed as lights flickered and generators failed. Some prayed, some cursed, some simply waited. One corridor leads deeper underground. This section was restricted, only officers allowed. Behind a reinforced door lay the communications room. Here, operators worked endlessly. Headphones pressed to ears, fingers trembling over switches and dials. Messages came in fragments, coordinates, casualty numbers, desperate calls for reinforcement that would never arrive. Some transmissions ended mid-sentence. Silence followed. During one night raid, communications abruptly stopped. No outgoing signals, no incoming responses. For hours, This bunker was completely cut off from the world. Above ground, chaos unfolded. Below ground, men sat in darkness, unsure if the war had already passed them by or buried them alive. There are marks on the walls in one small chamber. Scratches, not random, tallies, days counted. Someone trapped here during a prolonged siege marked time, one line at a time. On the final mark, the lines stop. We don't know if rescue came or if time simply ran out. As the war dragged on, this bunker changed purpose. It became a place of retreat, a last stand. Supplies ran low, food was rationed, medical equipment was limited. Injured soldiers were brought here, far from hospitals, far from hope. A medic station was set up in a corner room. No anesthesia, no sterilized tools, just urgency and pain. Blood soaked into the concrete, and concrete remembers. Even today, stains remain, darker than the rest of the floor, impossible to fully erase. This is where men learned that survival underground came with its own cost. You might escape bombs, but not trauma. Near the end of the war, orders came suddenly. Abandon the bunker, destroy sensitive materials, leave nothing useful behind. Files were burned, equipment smashed, weapons removed or sabotaged. The last men to leave sealed the doors behind them and walked away. Some for the last time. After the war, the world moved on. Cities rebuilt, new roads covered old scars, and this bunker was forgotten. Grass grew over the entrance, concrete cracked under frost and rain. Children climbed on it, unaware of what lay beneath their feet, a tomb without names. Decades later, historians and explorers rediscovered it. They expected empty rooms. They were wrong. Inside were personal items left behind in haste, a boot, a helmet, a rusted canteen, and letters. Letters never sent. One letter reads simply, "If you find this, know that we tried to hold on. We were afraid, but we stayed." No name, no date. Just proof that someone once believed their story mattered. Walking through this bunker today is unsettling, not because of ghosts, but because of reality. Because every wall whispers a truth we prefer to ignore. History doesn't always end cleanly. Some stories are buried, and some places still carry the weight of human fear, hope, and sacrifice. Everyone walks past this bunker, because it's easier not to know. But now, you do. And the next time you pass a quiet patch of concrete, half hidden by grass, ask yourself, what stories are sleeping beneath your feet?